Hello, hey there. This is Benjamin, an inspirational speaker and also a motivational speaker, and above all, a teacher. In this video today, I'm going to be talking about what I have put there as a topic of a stingy person. And if you're going to watch this video for the first time, I hope that you like and follow this Facebook page and also subscribe to this YouTube channel for more of these similar videos. The reason why I'm doing this topic here is, yes, we live in a world that money and how the money is spent and who gets this money is very important. And as a man, I have grown up to understand that money can be very important, but also how you spend the money is really, really important, and who do you spend this money to. So as you're watching the video, I hope you will share the video. You will tag your friends in the comment sections. You can leave a comment here at the end of this video. And above all, remember, as I said from the beginning, if you're going to watch me for the first time, I hope you find time to follow this page and also to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Now, I'll begin with the basics. Who is a stingy person? For easy English, a stingy person is somebody who is not generous, does not want to spend the money. They already have the money, but really do not want to spend. And by spending, I mean they don't want to spend for themselves, but also they don't want to spend this money for the people who are important to them. So if somebody has lots of money that he can actually spend on another person or other people, but decides not to spend the money, also decides not to use that money for himself, for what he has or what he needs, then that makes that person a very stingy person. I have put there some of the signs of a stingy person. As you're watching the video, continue sharing. The first sign that I want to talk about is a stingy person believes that all men who are stingy are not stingy and take care of their loved ones are weak and taken for a ride. When somebody says that other people who spend money on their women or they spend money on their loved ones, whether it's their parents or their children, and this person says that if you spend your money so much on them or on that person, you're being taken for a ride, then that person is very stingy. And sometimes when you're so stingy, the funny part is when somebody is so stingy, he may not realize it. I've been a victim before. I didn't know that I was so stingy to myself, stingy to the things that I needed as Benjamin, as a man. When you forget even about yourself, the things that you actually need for yourself, and you think that what other people are doing for other people, what another man is doing for his woman, or what another man is doing for his children, or even his close family members, is just being taken for a ride, then you could actually be a very stingy person. The second sign that you see there that I put there for a stingy person is he has an annoying habit of splitting the bills, especially with his loved ones. Somebody was telling me one day, the easiest way to know that you have met a stingy person is from the first few dates. The first date, when you go for a coffee date, a lunch date, a dinner date, and the way they treat you, the way they order foodstuffs, or the way they want to treat you on that first date can actually tell you that this person is very stingy. Remember, I am talking about somebody that maybe to a large extent, you already know that this person has money. If you have this man, you meet him, you go for a date, and let's say that it's a dinner date. The same person asks you to split the bills or gives you an excuse. I forgot my wallet, or my card is not working, or there's so many excuses a stingy person can give. But you know for a fact that this person is actually not really, he has money. He's not like a broke person. And there's a very big distinction between a stingy person and a broke person. When somebody begins splitting the bills and even asking you to share the bills of the two things the things that you're sharing, then this is a clear indication that you have met a stingy person, and you should be careful of how further you can go with this person if this is the way they're behaving in the beginning. Now, look at the third point about a stingy person. He believes that going for a holiday is a reserve for the rich and has never thought of saving for a holiday treat. You see, when people talk about holidays, taking vacations, what comes into their mind is money. I never used to think about holidays and vacations beyond money. We have been brought up in our families to see a vacation and a holiday something to do with traveling to another country, going to another city, going far away, spending money in a very expensive 5-star hotel. This is the definition of a vacation, of a holiday. But surprisingly, one of the celebrities that I follow closely on social media talked about his experience with how he was stingy and then finally met a woman and began to realize that he was actually a stingy man. And then this woman helped her to understand that vacation don't mean that you should go to another country. Vacation doesn't mean that you should save a lot of money, like millions, so that you can take a flight to go to Dubai or Maldives or Bahamas or those fancy countries, Jamaica, where people dream of going to. You can actually take a vacation to the next town, the nearest town within where you are. You can actually take a vacation to the next museum that is just next by where you're staying. Surprisingly, people who actually take vacations, people who travel a lot, they have more ability to deal with depression and also stresses in life. You work so hard, you are trying to raise money that you have raised a lot and you have kept it in a bank or somewhere. You're hiding this money, and out of the stress that you're going through, you don't want to believe that if I spend this little money that I've been saving, that I've been making to go for a vacation, to treat myself and even the loved ones, this is why you're building so much stress and even depression in your life. When you begin thinking of a vacation as a waste of money and a waste of time, especially for your loved one, if it's for your children, or even for your own spouse or your girlfriend, when you think that this is actually wasting money and you have the money, then you're the person that I'm talking about. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you, you're very stingy. Now, look at the next sign to look out for a very stingy person. A stingy person never contributes to social functions. Social functions have become so common in our society. People will lose their loved ones. People will need or request for money for helping the sick, or even to help them to offset the bills, like the funeral expenses. When you are in a position to help these kind of situations, you know that a family member has lost a loved one, or a family member has a sick family member. You know for a fact, you know that this is what they have already told you. You can see it on social media. You can read about it. You can hear people talking about these functions within your family, but you still have the money and you never, or you do not want to contribute, then you're a very stingy person. If you cannot be touched to just say, let me contribute this small amount that I have to this young man or this young woman within the family setting. I'm not talking about the social media strangers or people who come to your inbox giving you a very sob story, a sad story about what is happening in their life, about what is happening in their family. You don't know even them. Some of them even come to your inbox, and the first thing they do is they don't even say hello to you. They don't even check up on you. And the first thing they do is to ask you for money. They want you to give them money to support them, whatever they're going through. I'm not talking about those people. I am talking about you as a person. You know, within your family, you know within your friends, your former schoolmates, these people or that person needs some help, social functional help. And you actually have the money, you have the ability to support him or her, to give him or her something small for those functions, but you choose not to do it, then you're a very stingy person. The other sign of a very stingy person is he never gives his folks money, never supports his siblings, and insists that he needs to develop himself. I posted a video recently about how money is important as you get older. And that video was a very powerful message. I hope you can go through my Facebook page and see that video. The gentleman who was talking about in that video was a CEO. Yes, he mentioned that most of our family members, especially our elderly people, the folks, our fathers and our mothers, the biggest challenge that they have to survive the remaining time that they have in their lives is they don't have continuous source of income. They don't have the money coming in through. Somebody can have a huge piece of land or buildings, assets, known to be a very rich man in your village, but because these things are not giving him or her money, then obviously he's a broke person. But other than that story or that explanation, the way this person is explaining, I'm talking about somebody who has the money, but now that the parents or his folks cannot get this money or do not have this consistent source of income, but this young man or this young woman that I'm talking about has the money, is actually making good money, but chooses not to support his loved ones, chooses not to support his folks, spends his money on other people or other things, makes himself happy, can spend lots of money to strangers, to women, to me. I mean, when you have a family member, when you have a mother or a father who is using the cheapest kind of phone you can ever imagine of, a very old phone, as a father or as a mother. But this gentleman has the ability to buy for his own mother or his own father a better phone. Or to try to, there are so many examples that when a stingy person forgets or does not want to do anything to his own family members, but is busy helping other people. He is known to be helping other people and forgetting the people who are so close to him and his life. To me, a stingy person is somebody who is willing to support other people and avoid supporting the most important people in his own life. I mean, this man can decide to support a stranger and forget about what his son wants. Forget about what his own daughter really wants. The promise that he has been giving to these children, that I will buy you, I will give you this thing, I will do this to you, I will help you to get all these things. But the same man has money, has the ability to fulfill all these promises for these people, for his own children, but chooses not to do that, but helps other people, or even forgets other people and just wants good things for himself. I want the best phone for myself. I want the best laptop. I want the best car. I want the best dresses, the best clothing, shoes, belt. I want to look extremely classy and very well dressed, and forgets these people that are so close to him. Now, that's a clear definition of a very stingy person. I hope you're sharing the video. I'm winding up now. A stingy person is, everything to him is cheap and prefers to hoard money, to keep money to himself and even doesn't want to spend on himself, you know, and the loved ones. Let me tell you a very funny story about myself when I used to be extremely stingy for myself. There's a time, and when you even meet stingy people, there's a time I had my innerwears that were very torn. I had a pairs of socks that were very old and very torn. I never used to buy them. And then, you know, as you go into dating life, you will meet people. Some people will change you. Some people will tell you that you're actually stingy. And I'm so lucky that I met some people who just told me, Benjamin, you're a very stingy person. You're not stingy to me, but actually you're actually stingy to yourself. Now, these innerwears, which were so torn, and the pairs of socks that were very old, this one lady once told me, Benjamin, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to take you to a clothing store. I will help you to buy new innerwears. But at the same time, I know you have money. You can afford. An innerwear is not a very expensive item or something to buy. I know you can buy for yourself. So you're going to buy 50% I will buy for you and 50% you'll buy for yourself. And then at first I thought it was very stupid. I felt so offended, you know. And then I felt like it was something stupid. Because I told her, you know, why should I buy new innerwears? Nobody sees them. I'm the one who wears them. Nobody knows that actually my underwears are very torn. Nobody sees them. And then she told me, you know what, Benjamin, I am not a nobody. I am a woman. I'm in your life. Even though things may never work out between me and you, you will find other women. They will see what you're wearing. This is who you are. When you wear this kind of clothes and you have money to buy these things, it doesn't make sense. What it means, you are a very stingy person. You need to spend money for these basic things that you should wear that actually are not torn. If you didn't have money, you couldn't afford new, better innerwears, then that would make sense. And that opened up my mind to begin to realize that sometimes you're very stingy. You can be so stingy as a man that you don't want to buy anything for yourself. You can be extremely stingy up to an extent that you have money. As you're watching this video, there is something that you really want to have, but you have chosen not to buy it, but you're keeping the money in the bank or in your wallet or in the house. When you're stingy, everything to you is cheap. You want a cheap restaurant. You want a cheap phone. You want a cheap car. You want a cheap house. You want cheap clothes. You want cheap vacation. Cheap with you become friends. Even when you step into a restaurant and you look at the menu, when a lady, if you go for a date, the lady is trying to figure out what to eat. And at the moment, for you, what you're thinking about is, what is the cheapest meal on this menu? What can I afford on this menu? But you have the money. Remember, a stingy person has money. This is not a broke guy. I'm not talking about a broke guy. This is somebody that genuinely has money, can buy that food, can buy a nice watch, can buy nice underwears, can actually buy a gift for himself, can change from the phone that he has been using to a better phone, can buy another car, but chooses not to do it because he's a stingy person. Cheap to this person runs in his blood. Cheap. Anything. You mean it's even like when you want something or when you suggest something, the first thing that comes into this person's mind is let me think about the cost. And you know the funny thing about these examples I'm giving you, I have been there before. I'm actually talking about myself. I used to be so cheap. Do you know, in my podcasts that I wish I will continue making them, I talked about my experience of cell phones, a smartphone. I only bought my smartphone very recently. And I've talked about this example over and over again. I used to walk with my laptop all the time. You know, if you want to access other social media platforms like WhatsApp, you must have a smartphone. There's no way you can access WhatsApp without a smartphone. So I had this laptop, which is 2 kilograms, and I was carrying it everywhere. Can you imagine? I am carrying my laptop everywhere, to the restaurant, to the park, to work. I had this bag on my back every single day and night because the laptop could access WhatsApp for me to communicate with my family members. And it took me 5 years to realize that I've been walking around with something 2 kilograms. Instead, I could have bought a cheap or a simple smartphone that I could have been using to communicate with my family members using the WhatsApp. That's how somebody can be stingy. You forget that what you're doing to yourself is hurting you. And I had the money to buy a phone. I had money to buy a smartphone. Even when I started living alone, like now I live abroad, I was planning not to have a washing machine. And my excuse was, washing machine uses water and also spends electricity to wash my clothes. So I told myself, Benjamin, you know what? I'm not going to buy a washing machine. What I'm going to do, I want to save the money for electricity, but I will pay for the water. So that means every single week, on the weekend, I'll be washing the clothes by myself. I did that for 2 months. Then it became more difficult. My fingers got so hot. It was very tiring to bend and wash my own clothes for 2 good months just to save money. And if somebody asked me, Benjamin, do you have money to buy a washing machine? I could have said, yes, I have a washing machine, but I don't want to wash the clothes on the machine. I can do it by myself. I was brought up from a humble beginning. I come from a very poor family. I never had washing machines in my family, never had electricity. So why not? I can always wash my clothes. And one person just looked at me. One of my co-workers told me, Benjamin, I think you're a very stingy person. Why don't you just buy a small washing machine and wash the clothes there instead of bending down and washing these clothes every month? That's how you can be stingy. When you are thinking about cheap, what is the cheapest thing for me to do? How much can I save when I do this? You're a very stingy person. Now, as I wind up, some of the other signs that you're a very stingy person. When a loved one asks you for money, you take ages to decide. Yes, I speak as a man. Most men take time to decide. But when it comes to a stingy person who has money, the time for deciding to say, yes, I am going to do this. Can you buy this for us, for me? Can you buy this for your child? Can you do this for your mother? Can you do this for your brother? And then they take ages. Can take even 1 month thinking about it and pretend that they are forgotten. When you are taking too long to decide on if you should give money or not, you're a very stingy person. As I began this video, I said, stingy people are not generous. When you meet generous people, even if they are strangers, even if they have very little amount of money, you request them to help you. This could be your cousin. This could be your uncle, your aunt, could be your brother, or even your own father, your own mother, your grandmother. You request them to help you, and they take longer to decide to help you, and they have the money. Then you are facing a very stingy family member. If you have a friend that you call your friend, this is my friend Benjamin. When you talk with him, you have amazing talks. You can laugh, you can joke, you can have a good time together. But when you request them for the help and they take time to decide, then they are a very, very stingy people. A stingy person, a generous person doesn't take long to decide. I'm sure you have met a man or a woman, you request them for their help. They just tell you, tomorrow I'll do something for you, or next week, God willing, I will do something for you. And they fulfill it. They do it exactly. If they told you it's tomorrow, I will do something for you, they will do it. But a stingy person will take time, will take another longer time to decide. Now look at the last 2 points. A stingy person wants to spend in your house and at your own expenses. I was listening to a radio show today morning. The presenters were talking about how the generation has changed, that ladies are making more money than men. There are so many women who are hardworking. They are relentless in chasing the money, more than the boy child, more than the men. And when a man realizes that he has landed on such a woman, takes the advantage. I am sure you have met such a man in your life. When a man realizes that you can actually support him, you are there for him, you are feeding him, you are taking care of every other single thing. You don't see him hustling. You don't see him trying to push himself harder. This man is from morning to evening, Monday to Sunday, January to December, is on your neck, asking you to support him, asking you to pay the bills for him. Every single bill doesn't show his effort, that actually he's also doing something, even though you're helping him, and he actually has money. If he sits down and then wants you to do everything for him, there are people who will want to visit you. You have had people saying that, when can I visit you? Should I come to your place? And somebody will be confident to come to your place where you stay, sit there, you cook for him, clean, and he is seated. He does absolutely nothing. Will have sex with you, will eat your food, and will confidently wake up in the morning and walk away, and even expect you to pay little amount of money for his transportation to go away. That is the generation we are living in. And if you find such a person, if you find that you have landed on such a person that does not want to spend his own money, wants you to do everything for him, you are dealing with a very stingy person. Stingy people do not want to spend their money. They absolutely don't want to do that. They have it, but they don't want to spend that money. The money is there, but they would rather have your money. They would rather you do everything for them. That's a stingy person that you're dealing with. Now, the last one, which is a very important sign that I want you to look out for, look at this. I want you to look at the list. And I hope that you can copy paste the last point, put it there on the comments. It's the mother of a stingy person. You know, when you're stingy, you're not stingy about money. I used to think that when a person is stingy, it's just stingy because of the money. When you're stingy, you become stingy on other areas of your life. You become stingy with your feelings. You don't feel sorry about other people. When you see or hear somebody is going through a lot, when a family member is facing something that is so sad, but you are so blessed to have the money in your pocket and in your account, but you don't feel sorry for them. When you are not able to even have time to attend their functions, to even attend the funeral ceremony, because you're so busy. You know, when you're so stingy, you focus on yourself, you focus on your money. I cannot travel to go and attend this funeral ceremony. It's a waste of time. Somebody has already died. How can I make the person to come back alive? When you're so stingy, you even become stingy with your attention. You don't pay attention to people's stories. You don't even focus on what other people are talking about. You're focusing on yourself. Even you become stingy with your respect. You know, when people have lots of money and they don't want to spend it, they feel superior. They feel they have made it in life. And They don't want to respect other people. Even in a family setting, when there's a family meeting, a stingy person will look down upon other family members, feel like a boss. Have you ever met such an uncle who feels like a boss, feels like he's the king in the family? Have you ever met a cousin or a brother or a sister in your family setting, feels like he's a superstar in the family, does not want to spend the money, but he is so stingy with respecting other people's opinions, when even your own brother, who is not as successful as you, is not very lucky to have money like you, stands up to give his opinions in a family meeting, a stingy person dismisses that opinion, says that this man has nothing to say. This person has, this woman or this, my sister has nothing to say. So when you're stingy, it's not always about money. You can be stingy in so many areas of life. You can be stingy to other things that are very important. You can be even stingy to the people that are working for you. You are a businessman. You are relying on these employees to protect your business, to protect your brand, to make you make more money, to make you to become more successful in your life. But when you are so stingy even to them, they see it. They know that our boss is so stingy. This man, we work so hard for him. We wake up every single day and night to make sure that we are protected. That's why they even steal from you. When some people realize that you're so stingy and they are working under you, they will sabotage you. They will take all your business ideas from you. And most stingy people, sometimes they end up very miserable. The businesses, the ideas that they had to expand. I am sure you have heard of family members that you could see them as young as they were, they had the potential to become better, to become successful, to make money, to even help other people in your community, in your village. But because they were so stingy to themselves and to the people that were working under them, they ended up becoming so poor, so broke. And now this is the time that they realize that they were actually very stingy. Stinginess is a disease. Stinginess is actually classified as one of the things that can be termed as mental disorder. Now, I posted 2 questions there on this video. Who is a stingy person and how can you help a stingy person? Because this video is not just describing who is a stingy person. There is help. You can wake up. You can decide to stop being stingy. Helping a stingy person, there are certain things that you can do to him or her. One way is to accept that they are stingy. Accept that your uncle is a stingy person. Accept your brother is very stingy. Accept your father is a very stingy man. And sometimes you can talk with them. Sometimes you may choose not to talk to them. Accept your boyfriend is a very stingy boyfriend. Accept your husband is a very stingy man. So one thing that you can do, I challenge you, is just to have a very honest conversation. You have to remind him. You have to tell him, this is what you're doing. You have this money, you're making this money, but you're not doing this. Because as I said from the beginning, sometimes your boyfriend or your husband may not know that they are stingy. And it's your responsibility to try to make him wake up, to try to motivate him, to try to make him change his ways and habits, to try to make him understand that whatever he's doing shows that he's a very stingy person. Talk to them. Accept that this is my person, this is my family member, this is my friend, and he is stingy. Let us talk about it. One of the other things that you can do with a stingy person, of course, is to empathize with them. Don't take it very personal. Stingy people become very sensitive. In fact, after watching this video, a stingy person will come and tell me, hey, Benjamin, So you want us to spend money on people. I didn't say that. I didn't say that now you should spend money on anyone. Nobody does that. Of course, you decide who to spend your money on. You have the money, you can say, I'm going to spend this one on this one. I'm going to say no to this one and this. Nobody is going to question you that. But the other person who you're supposed to spend this money to has a say. Your son, your daughter, your brother, your sister, or even your wife, or your mother or your father, they may need your help. They may need that this money that you're making, they may need it. But when you are facing such a person who is so stingy, please try to sympathize with them, empathize with them, understand that it could be the way they were brought up. Their own father was so stingy. Their whole family members is characterized with stinginess. The way they spend money, the way they decide, maybe their community, their society, the way they are brought up, this is how they spend money, this is what they do with their money. Understand that. You have to understand that. Not all of us can have money and spend anyhow to any person, a stranger or another family member. The other thing is, if you meet a stingy person, set the expectations. You know, don't expect too much. One of the things that has been affecting so many people is having too many expectations. You are expecting somebody who is making six-figure salary to do so many things for you. Sometimes even you who is saying that your boyfriend or your husband is very stingy, your expectations are abnormal. They are unrealistic. You cannot force somebody to buy for you a helicopter and the only thing that he can afford is a wheelbarrow. You have to be realistic. You cannot expect your husband that is working, making very little amount of money. You think it's money, but you don't expect him to do so many things because the pressure now becomes too much. And I don't want this video to appear like a man must provide. A man has to spend money to people. A man has to spend money on his woman or his family or his girlfriend. There must be expectations. If the person cannot meet those expectations, don't call them stingy. If they can meet it, if they can meet those things that you want, and they don't do it, then they are stingy. But if your expectations are here, and the person's money is here, then you are the one who has a problem. You are very unrealistic. Think about your expectations. Last but not least, with a stingy person, don't stop being generous. You know, you can encourage somebody by being giving. You can actually encourage your brother, your own brother who is so stingy, to give. Do you know that you can do that? Suddenly you can show. Don't stop being stingy. Don't say that because he is stingy, I'm also going to be stingy. Show them, lead by an example. Just tell them, you know what, there was this function that was going on a few months ago, and I decided to help him. I decided to help that man you saw. I decided to help that woman. Sometimes people just begin to see, wow, and this person is actually helping other people and is doing it from his or her own heart. And it motivates you to begin also becoming generous. I use this example of when you have 1,000 US dollars. Assuming you have 1,000 US dollars right now, it's good money. Somebody gives you 1,000 and asks you to spend the money. And also gives another person the same amount of money, 1,000 US dollars. Also tells him or her to spend the money. Now for you, you use the money to buy the things that you wanted. Maybe you just wanted an iPhone, a nice phone. So you go to the phone shop and buy a phone because somebody has just given you 1,000. Then another person has 1,000 and realizes that there's somebody who is in need of some little help. has a sick person or has a funeral to attend or is struggling to even pay some rent, chooses to help a little to that person, and then the remaining amount of money he or she decided to use. Did you know, out of these two people, when you ask them, how did you spend your money, the level of happiness and satisfaction will never be the same. If you have ever spent money to help another person, and then you see that you actually helped him, you helped her to get something that they were so desperate to get, the level of satisfaction you feel in your heart in helping them is extremely so big. I never used to think about it, but every time, even when I had something small, I said, let me try to help her. Let me try to help him, even though it's very little amount. And then I see that that person has gotten the help. The level of satisfaction that I got from the little amount that I gave was more than helping myself or buying stuff for myself. And this is the challenge I want to give you as a stingy person. Begin to realize that when you help, when you say, I am helping him, I am helping her, what you're doing to yourself is having this satisfaction that you have actually helped that person. But as I said, of course, with a stingy person, if you meet a stingy person, one way of helping them, do not stop giving. For you, continue to give. Just give. Hopefully they will catch up with you. They will change up their mind. This could be your roommate. It could be a workmate. It could be your former schoolmate. It could be your family member, your own sister, your brother, or a friend. Just do not stop giving. Last one, of course, one way of dealing with a stingy person, obviously, is avoiding the person. You know, it reaches a point where you can't really force someone to spend their money. At the end of the day, it's their money, you know. In as much as I will talk about this topic and about a stingy person, one of the other solutions is just to avoid them. When you begin a relationship of forming a union together with a stingy person, you have a chance to begin avoiding them. Do not invest your feelings, your dreams, your goals, and your life and your future with somebody who is so stingy and does not want to spend on you and together with you. You have every right to avoid them from the beginning. This is your assignment. You know that this person is stingy. Even though you're going to set up a beautiful union together, let's assume that after the dating process, hopefully you have a wedding ceremony, which you can also be very stingy in a wedding ceremony, the planning and up to the end of the wedding. And don't think that marriage is going to change a stingy person to become generous. Very few stingy people actually decide to become generous in their lives. Stingy, and then you become one, the stinginess multiplies. If they're not willing to change, if they're not willing to accept that they are very stingy and embrace the fact that whatever they are doing is not for the good of you or the two of you together, then why are you together with this person? Why are you becoming a Jesus Christ to their lives? Why are you the savior? Why are you the therapist that they're not even paying you? You're actually a therapist to somebody who is extremely stingy to himself and to you and to the relationship and to your whole life. Avoid them as much as you can. So in conclusion, as I wind up in this talk, I want to say this. We have stingy people in our life. You will always meet a stingy person. We have stingy people in our family setting. We have a stingy person who is watching us. We have another stingy person who is going to watch this video as I finish. We have to accept these realities. But my challenge to you, in as much as you want to save money, you want to choose who to spend to and not to spend to, don't be caught up in having a lot of money kept somewhere at the expense of very important people in your life. Don't keep this money for yourself, or don't say, I am keeping this money for my children. I don't want to spend this money now. My children will suffer when I am gone, when I am grown, when I am too old. Don't be fixated into keeping this money to yourself. As I said earlier on, stinginess is not about money. You can be stingy about how you treat people. You can be stingy about how you respect people. You can be stingy about your kindness. You can be stingy about your respect, about your time, about your intentions, about your empathy to other people who are going through pain. Because stinginess is just, you're not generous to other people. You're not generous to your children. You're not generous to your own woman or your own man. You're keeping all these good things for yourself, which is not healthy, which is not good, which at the end of the day, you may not be a very happy person after keeping all these things to yourself. If you watched this video and you liked it, I hope, again, as I said from the beginning, you subscribe to this YouTube channel and also leave a comment what you think about this talk today. Share it to your friend on their inboxes. You can copy the link, paste it, put it on your WhatsApp or on your timeline, tag a friend on the comment section, and you never know. Maybe you could be raising a son who is going to be stingy. If you're a stingy father, your son is actually learning on how to be a stingy man. If you're a stingy mother, your daughter is actually learning on how to become a very stingy person. So this message is not just about you being stingy. If you're raising a family, you have to tell them that there's a big difference on spending money wisely and being stingy. And you can set an example to them. So I hope you share this video, and thank you so much for watching. I'll go through your comments. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your feedback. And thank you for your reactions. And more important, thank you for sharing this video and watching. Until the next video, this has been Benjamin, Bold and Raw Talks. I hope to see you again in the next live video. Goodbye and take care. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy.